Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It is Binky and we are going to continue discovering the zoologist scents. Yes, so I think there's about 16, 17 left of this series. Yeah, it's a lot. And there's a new one coming out soon. But I don't know, it may have already come out by the time I get this one up because I film in advance. Ah, yes. So here we go. I always do a random one. And here we go. Here we go. I'm really feeling this, but I keep going for the right hand. I know. And it's elephant. What was the other one? It was sloth. Second time this sloth has been kind of dethroned, but what can you do? So this is elephant. I just almost said elefante. I don't know why. Elephant. Yes, I do speak some Spanish. I understand it decently, but this is not that channel. So let us look at the notes. Okay, so I'm really kind of excited about this one. My experience with elephants would be when I was a little kid going on a field trip to the zoo. And I do remember the elephant cages in the scent. I don't know if they'll go for that here, but to be honest, they have used animalistic scents before. So there you go. And I'm not saying they're going to shy away. So the Art and Olfaction Awards of 2008, independent category finalists. So this made it to the finalist category. That's great. So there you go. So apparently this one did well. So huge trees quake at their approach, vulnerable leaves shuddering as the ground rumbles under heavy footsteps. Ooh. So from beneath the canopy of lush, damp foliage, the complex aromas of zoologist elephant emerge into a mixture of invigorating Darjeeling, and incense, swirls hints of coconut and cocoa. I love all of this, every last bit of it. So here are the notes. Top notes are tree leaves, Darjeeling tea, magnolia. It just keeps getting better and better. Heart notes, cocoa, coconut milk, incense, jasmine, woody notes. Keep bringing it on. And then base notes, amber, musks, patchouli, and sandalwood. So the musks make me a little bit nervous because sometimes that could be an interesting scent depending which way they go. And then patchouli I'm not a huge fan of, but if it's put in a fragrance right, I definitely won't say no, and I haven't before because I really have liked it in a lot of these, but it can be a bit much usually. Okay. Ooh, it doesn't want to come out. I don't want to rip it. Okay. So, let's find the spout. I thought I smelled something. I know, I thought I smelled something. I always try to see, because the only one I've been able to smell through here, I think, was T-Rex and bee. Ooh. So, there we go. Elephant. And then we will do it. Oh, that went over my shoulder and onto my bed. Whoa. That's okay. We don't need any more. Oh. This is not what I thought it was going to be. Huh. Didn't really hit much on my wrist, so I want to nail it again. I know. It went over my, went over onto my bed. That's going to be fun. Huh. This is nothing at all like I thought it was going to be. I'm so confused. Wow. I thought this was going to be a lot more sweet and gourmand. It is not. Oh, wow. Okay. So I get the leaves. I get the tea. It's a very earthy tea. Darjeeling is very earthy. I do drink some tea. I get that. I get the leaves. I get the incense. Huh. I get the amber and the wood. Ooh. Wow. Okay. That's very interesting. More incense. More incense on the clothing. Incense and amber on the clothing. Wow. Okay, this is not what I expected. It's so earthy and mystical. Gosh, it almost reminds me of, oh, how would I put this? Like some kind of ruins in a jungle. Yeah, where you like come out of the jungle and then you are like, wow. Like Angkor Wat kind of thing. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah, except that's more like of a tourist thing. It's like an area that wasn't discovered and nobody ever comes upon it. And it's there all by itself. And it's finally discovered for the first time and everybody's like, whoa, this is what this reminds me of. Coming out of that like forest, the jungle forest. And this is that scent of just trotting through that soil, coming through the trees, and just this ancient city. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. This is completely opposite of what I thought it was going to be. I really thought it was going to be really sweet and ambery and floral, or it's not even floral, just sweeter. Wow. I don't really get the magnolia. I get the tree leaves and the Darjeeling. Incense I don't get the jasmine as much. I get the woody notes. I get the amber. I get the patchouli for sure. Yeah. Wow. I know. I'm kind of blown away by this one. It just, I was here and it's here. It is so earthy. It is so earthy and just like, this is earth. If you were making perfumes based off of, it could be two things. If you're making perfumes based off of ancient spaces, like I said, or scent for like Angkor Wat, or what I would think of it as, this would be it. If I was making something for, you know, earth and fire and water and air, this would be the earth. Yeah, it just has a little bit more incense. This is crazy. I can see why this would go with elephant. It doesn't necessarily capture the animal of elephant, but what it does capture is the environment of where it would be, depending on what type of elephant or where it is. But I get this. It's very earthy. And when you think of elephants, at least I do, yes, they're big and lumbering, but I think of them as just being really just earthy creatures. I for some reason, I think it's the skin, and then they'll like throw water and dirt on themselves. They're very earthy creatures to me. In a different way than like, say, a mole, which would be underground and damp. I don't get that. I get like almost arid, but a jungle wouldn't really be arid. But where would it be? I mean, I'm thinking more desert, which elephants can. Yeah, it's just, this is interesting. Wow. I like it in a strange way. I don't know if I would wear this one personally, but I love the experience I'm going through. Wow. Incense, patchouli, which I don't normally care for. Amber, trees, and just earthiness. Ooh. Okay, I get incense here and jasmine. Incense, jasmine, and just earthiness. It's so grounded, and I think it may be the leaves. I don't know. It's just so grounded. This is interesting. I don't even know what to think. Like, again, I don't think I would wear this. If I were to wear this, I'd add vanilla to it. Hey-oh, that's what I do all the time. I add vanilla to everything. It's like, you know what? I need to layer this. Vanilla. That's me. I'd put some vanilla on this. I would. It would really spruce it up. The only thing is I wish a little bit more magnolia came through with it. But to be fair, I think if it did come through, it would change the whole composition of the experience. So I understand why they didn't. But if I were going to wear this, vanilla it. Add some vanilla. So there you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sit for an hour because I'm really excited to see where it goes, because this one's one of the really unique ones in my opinion. It really just took me to a place I wasn't expecting, and I want to live in that place for a while. So I'm going to check back in an hour. Okay, so it's been a bit over an hour right now. So we're visiting it about an hour and a half. Had to grab some lunch. And so let's see where it's at. It's not quite as strong as it was, but I do get whiffs of it. So here we go. There's something sharp that I can't quite grasp what it is. So it's not as earthy as it was. There's like magnolia and cocoa. Magnolia, cocoa, and coconut in it. But there's a sharp scent cutting through it, and I'm not sure what it is. Let me grab the list again to see what where we're in the perfume. Okay, I'm trying to think what it would be. I really don't know, because none of these are really coming across as something that would cut through with a very sharp note. I don't know, very strange, but I know I can sense the magnolia, cocoa, and coconut. So that's there. Now let's see on the clothing. It's more coconut and magnolia on the sleeve. Yeah, so for me, it doesn't have a lot of, oh boy, it doesn't have a lot of staying power. No, it's very light. After like an hour and a half, I would have to like reapply it. It's interesting. So, okay. So it does still have a little bit of leaves, coconut, and magnolia on it. But it doesn't have the same effect that it did when I first put it on. It was really not strong. It was never overly strong. But now it's just flatlined a bit. So what I'm going to do is check back in. It'll probably be around 4 hours. I don't think this is even going to make it to the 3-hour mark, to be honest with you. So let me see where it goes, and then we'll check back in and we will talk about elephant. Okay, so it's been 5 hours, and there's really, usually when I move around, the fragrance will waft up to my nose, and that's not happening here. So this one, the projection wasn't the greatest, but even the longevity. But let's see what we got here. So I can barely pick out the notes anymore. So I get a sharpness that's almost like mango, but there's no mango in this, with coconut. Yeah, it's like a coconut with a sharp scent. It could be the magnolia, but I'm not really getting magnolia from this. And I love magnolia, so let's try it on the shirt. On the shirt, it's like a chocolate coconut with magnolia. Yeah, chocolate coconut magnolia. That sounds delightful. But it's very light. I have to really get in there to be able to get a sniff. So the longevity, you know, I would say it's down here with cow, on the cow level. It's down here. It is above that. It's about here a little bit, but because cow was hard to pick up the scents immediately, it just was there and kind of gone. While this one really packed a punch. For the first hour, I'd say 45 minutes to an hour, it really, I don't know. It was such a unique scent. And I'm sure my reaction in the beginning will show that. It was something that I hadn't really experienced before, and maybe other people have. But the thing is, I do find the elephant leans a little bit more masculine, if that matters to you, or wear what you want, as I always say. But I would say a lot of people would think it leans a bit more masculine. So because of that, it isn't a percent profile that I would use a lot. So I don't know of any perfumes quite like it. Doesn't mean they don't exist, just means they don't exist in my sphere. So it was interesting. When I first tried it, I was kind of surprised, because I haven't dealt with something like that. It is a bit much at first. The greenery is kind of like when an elephant comes out of like some kind of forest or something, or, you know, out of the trees, and you're like, wow, you know, that's kind of what it was. And it's just kicking up that scent into the air. It's very earthy. So it's like an elephant kind of prodding through and opening up the leaves and kicking up dust. It does remind me of that environment. I do think with this one that it really does lean more towards the environment of an elephant, more of an Asian elephant than an African elephant. And it's more of its environment than it actually is the creature. And that's okay. I actually don't mind that. As long as it kind of represents how I feel an animal would live, or, you know, its environment or itself. So I'm okay with this. The only thing is that, yes, it does remind me of the environment, but like I said, the thing that kept kicking back into my head because of the incense and the patchouli and the green leaves was just Angkor Wat. I'm like, this is Angkor Wat when I think of it as. I don't know why. It just kept popping into my head, and I'm like, ooh. But it wasn't necessarily there. It could be anywhere that had like some old ruins, and not that's necessarily fully ruins, but, you know, where you're walking around and you're like, whoa, wow, look what we stumbled upon. That type of the thing. Untouched and wild. And that's what I got from it. I really like the initial fragrance of it. Not that it's a fragrance that I would wear. No, this isn't one I would wear myself, but I loved the journey it took me on within the first 45 minutes to an hour. I loved that journey. And then when it was over, it was like, oh, but I paid my ticket. I want more. You know, this wasn't a 2-hour movie. You know, that's kind of what I wanted from it. I wanted more of that journey. It just ended too soon. And I was a little disappointed, you know. It's like the movie cut off. Why? So in that way, that doesn't make it a bad scent. It makes it an interesting scent. I just wished it had better silage, longevity, projection, all of that. I want it, but it just didn't last that long on my chemistry or on my clothing. That being said, I do find it to be really unique. You know, I did. I really liked where it took me, but it was one of the more, it's one that I'll be thinking, is this weird? It's one I'll be thinking about for the next couple days. There's not many that I'm like, I'm going to be thinking about that, but there's a handful of them, and this is definitely one of them. I mean, T-Rex for maybe the wrong reason, but I was just thinking about that one for a while. I was like, damn. But like this one is just really lovely, and some of them you'll think about just because they're beautiful, like hummingbird or nightingale. If you love florals, they're just like, ooh, you're thinking about them in a different way. It's just, I can't explain it, but this one is just unique. They're just beautiful, and I'm like, I can't wait to wear these when the weather's nice. But this one's just like, huh. Yeah, I think that and bat. Bat just confused me. This didn't confuse me. It just intrigued me. So 2 different things. I still don't understand bat. I still don't know what happened. But with this one, I understood what happened, and I liked the journey I was on. So a very interesting one. Very interesting. Definitely worth getting a sample to check out how it plays on your skin, because it is really intriguing. But that being said, I don't think this would be one that's on my list. It's just one I might pull out every once in a while to go on that journey again. So there you go. So if I were going to rate elephant, I would give this a 5. And the only reason it's not going lower or higher is the longevity was not great. The projection after a while wasn't that great. It just didn't last past an hour and a half as long as I wanted, so that's going to bring it down. Now, other ones have done that, and I gave them a 3.3, I think. With this one, I'm kicking it up because of the journey. It's like being on the elephant. Yeah, and riding through the jungle, and you're like, wow. So that's why. That's why I gave it a kick up. I liked it. I liked the journey. There you go. So that is how I feel about elephant. Yes. So we are going to be moving on to the next scent. What will it be? Who knows? But until next time, have a fabulous day, my friends. Bye.